HARK! What is up, everybody? We are here. It is time. I guess the way that I'm going to structure this is each time new information comes out for Star Wars Unlimited, I'll do a new episode of what this is. So that way we can keep going, keep separating what's actually happening and my thoughts for the series, because originally I was going to make a quick video about my hopes and speculations about the game. But today, May 16th, Tuesday, Fantasy Flight Games released a new article that gave us a first look. So today's episode is going to be Star Wars Unlimited Episode 1, The First Look. And we'll go ahead and just get right into it. I actually haven't read this yet. I probably should have. But we're going to go ahead and just take a quick look at this immediately. I apologize about all the extra rest of the stuff, but I haven't figured out certain things. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We are here. So, Star Wars Unlimited. We're going to go through this. I'll bounce back and forth. We'll take a look at as much as what we can individually throughout each subsection. I'm not going to read every single letter of every single word, but I'll put the link to this article in the description below so you can follow along if you'd like. And let's get going. Fantasy Flight Games is thrilled to announce Star Wars Unlimited. This is a fast-paced strategic card game for everyone, whether you are a hardcore Star Wars fan, a longtime player of trading card games, or anywhere in between. In this game, you build a deck using cards you acquire from randomized booster packs, and each of those cards has different strengths, weaknesses, and abilities. The game is called Unlimited for a reason. With over 200 cards in the first set, that's dope. Spark of Rebellion alone, there are countless strategies and combinations just waiting to be discovered. Choose your leader, build your deck, expand your collection, and launch yourself into a galaxy of unlimited potential. Let's see if we can open this image in a new tab. So here we go. We have a look at 7 cards here. We have Leia Organa. We have You're My Only Hope Gambit. We have Grand Moff Tarkin. We have Wing Leader, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and Maximum Firepower, which is an Imperial tactic. You'll note characters look like they have a bunch of different stats here. Something that's probably cost, attack, defense. These must be involved like deck building, I would assume. You have unit ground, unit space. So 2 theaters so far. Interesting. We'll come take a look at these individually afterwards if we can. Infinite ways to play. The goal of the game is simple. Destroy your opponent's base before they do the same to you. Of course, there are numerous ways you could approach that goal, and the unlimited theme of the game means you can craft a deck that matches the exact playstyle you want. We have the plan of attacking the Death Star there from episode 4. We'll go into more detail about deck building at a later date. Now, all you need to know is that your deck consists of cards that you draw and play, your leader, and your base. Each round consists of you and your opponent alternating back and forth, performing a single action each turn. So alternating gameplay actions, which is actually pretty good. Almost everything you do in the game is an action such as playing a card, attacking with a unit, activating ability, etc. Figuring out which action to use at a given time is a huge part of the game's strategy, since your opponent can potentially respond with anything you do with their action. Each round is dynamic and impossible to predict. Probably not impossible to predict, but I understand the point they're trying to make. Ground unit on the left, a space unit on the right. Another strategic element to the game relates to your play area, which is divided into 2 different arenas, a ground arena and a space arena. This was going to be part of my speculation that we were going to have some sort of arena system. The TCG does 3, character, ground, and space. This game looks like it's just going to be doing ground and space. Each unit can only be played into one or the other, which means every battle in Star Wars Unlimited takes place on 2 different fronts. Ooh. Some cards are able to affect units in either area. For example, many leaders, such as Luke Skywalker, Spark of Rebellion 5, and Darth Vader, Spark of Rebellion 10, have abilities that can affect any unit regardless of arena. Leaders are powerful cards that can act as a centerpiece to your deck. A typical leader has both an undeployed side where it starts the game and a deployed side where it's also a unit. We'll go more into leader deployment at a later date, as well as show off some of who the leaders are, so stay tuned. This game is something for everyone, whether you focus on constructed play or dive headfirst into draft and sealed events. Ooh! Let's take a quick look at these 2 since it's new stuff. We've got a blue and a white here for Luke, and a red and a black here for Darth Vader. They have just their basic names with what I assume are unique symbols. Action 1 and a tap, which I don't know what that's going to be called, but we call it tap just in general because of MTG. Give a shield token to a white unit you played this phase. Ooh, interesting. Epic action: if you control 6 or more resources, flip this leader, flip him, ready him, and move him to the ground arena. And it shows you here he's a 4/7. Interesting. Force Rebel. So they've got keywords, they've got things here, unit types, I guess. And then we have Darth Vader, Force Imperial Sith. Dark Lord of the Sith. 1 and a tap. If you played a dark card this turn, deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to a base. That's dope. That's a really good ability. Epic action: if you control 7 or more resources, deploy this leader, flip him, ready him, and move him to the ground arena. So obviously we don't know anything about what the other side of these look like, but right now as it stands, there are definitely some blue or white or rebels specifically work on protecting their units, while red or black or imperial units will want to damage opponents as they play their cards. So that's pretty cool. I always like the death by 1,000 cuts strategy. Anyway, this is an important part here. Organized play. Star Wars Unlimited is a competitive trading card game, so naturally there will be extensive opportunities for organized play. Hey, look, it's Han in Solo. We at FFG have taken all the lessons we've learned from our past games, including what worked, what didn't, and what we never got a chance to try, and used those as a foundation to construct a new organized play structure for this game from the ground up. We've been working on OP for Star Wars Unlimited since the game's inception, coordinating with the game's designers every step of the way to make sure that it's integrated into the game's DNA as deeply as possible. We want this game to feel welcoming to all players, so the organized play for Star Wars Unlimited will be split into 2 sides, casual and competitive. Casual play with events will include things like pre-releases, weekly play, and store showdowns. The focus on casual events is to have fun and provide opportunities for both newer players to learn the game and veteran players to try out decks or strategies. Even if you have no interest in the tournament scene, we hope you'll still stop by your local game store and take part in casual play. That said, if you are interested in the tournament scene, then competitive play is for you. The focus of competitive events is to provide an opportunity for players to test their skills and strategies against one another in a fair and competitive environment. This is where the glory and prestige of organized play can be found, with large-scale tournaments and massive prize pools to look forward to. We can't wait to launch our competitive scene. Competitive events award tournament points, with a number of points depending on how well you placed. These points will be tied to your profile on Star Wars Unlimited website, the full version of which will launch closer to the game's release, so in 2024. Accumulate enough tournament points and you can earn yourself an invitation to the Star Wars United Galactic Championship. We'll go into more detail about competitive organized play at a later date, but for now, a sneak peek of the play structure that this game will look like. So we've got pre-release, weekly play, store showdown. That's a cycle that happens in and of itself that will be consistent with each release. That's good. This is a good opportunity for people to just come in and play the game, and maybe even certain segments of the competitive circuit can get some practice in on these outside of the actual rotation of events. Then we have here planetary qualifier, regional qualifier, sector qualifier, all into the Galactic Championship. Now, a little bit of inside baseball here. The way that this reads to me is planetary qualifier will likely be an individual either city or state championship events that will feed into the Galactic Championship, which is likely a world's level event. A regional qualifier will likely be a corner, so like California, Arizona, Nevada, or the Midwest, or the Northeast, or the Florida region, stuff like that. That's what this reads to me. And then sector qualifier, I would say, is likely going to be national level events. So United States, Canada, any individual country in Europe, any individual country that participates in Asia, those types of areas. And then the Galactic Championship, I believe, is going to be the World Championship. Now, the reason why I say inside baseball is because I've seen this structure before in the Star Wars customizable card game by Decipher, where they have regions for specific areas, they have states level events, they have nationals, and that's a lot of what this here reads to me. They don't call them planetary or regional or sector. They do have regions named by specific planets, but they don't. Like, a states championship is just a states championship. A regional, like the Alderaan event, is all of the states or locations that take place within Alderaan, excuse me. All the wrong places. So that's why I'm kind of thinking it's probably going to be planetary is an individual state or city area. Regional will be a much larger area. And then sector will be the whole nation of the location that the game is being played. So, unlimited potential. Star Wars Unlimited is FFG's biggest game to date. The first look is just a small taste of what to come. We have a lot, we do mean a lot, of information to share about this game in the near future. We'll be revealing bits and pieces at regular intervals until the game's release, so be sure to follow the social media accounts and stay up to date on card reveals, rules, gameplay, and more. We cannot begin to express how excited we are for Star Wars Unlimited. Look forward to the first set, Spark of Rebellion, releasing in 2024. I really wish it would release earlier than that. Get a sneak peek of the game with this trailer. We're not going to take a look at that because that's something that could easily get me copyright struck, and I don't want to have that happen. But let's take a look at these two here. See if this actually works. Cool. So we have Grand Moff Tarkin, who looks like he costs 4. He's a ground unit, green-black. We'll, for the sake of simplicity, we'll go ahead and just call this attack and defense, or maybe even attack and health. Power and health. Let's say power and health. 2 power, 3 health. When played, search the top 5 cards of your deck for 2 Imperial cards. Reveal them and draw them. Put the other cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. That's pretty cool. And then we have Wing Leader here, which is a space unit. It's 3 cost. It is a white unit, no other color. 2 power, 1 health. Rebel Vehicle Fighter. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly rebel unit. Interesting. Don't know what experience is, but that's something that's likely going to be a mechanic revealed at a later date. So it looks like Tarkin wants to be pulling as many Imperial cards as possible, while Wing Leader wants to be able to get some quick medium level power onto the board, while also granting experience to your other Rebel units. And then we'll take a look one more time up here, because it looks like we have here. This almost looks like it's potential. Yeah, it does say leader unit. So these are the flip sides of Luke and Vader. So 4 power, 7 health. On attack, you may give another unit a shield token. That probably absorbs a damage, much like it does in Star Wars Destiny. And then we have Darth Vader on attack, where you may deal 2 damage to a unit. 5 power, 8 health. So that's pretty cool. Again, Darth Vader is that I'm just going to keep punching you in the face as hard as I possibly can. We have a Gambit here for white. Well, I'm going to call them by colors as best I possibly can, because I don't know exactly what these tokens are called. But one, we find out what these symbols mean: the yellow swirl, the white eagle here, the green circle, the black chit here, the red. Like, this has got to be like a Sith or something. But the red diamond, the blue force. I'm just probably going to call them blue, red, yellow, green, and then black and white. So we have a white gambit here. Look at the top card of your deck. You may play it. It costs 5 less. If your base has 5 or less HP remaining, you may play it for free instead. That's pretty good, especially if you have a lot of 5 or less events in your deck. Or cards, excuse me, not necessarily events. We have Maximum Firepower, which is a black card for 4. A friendly Imperial unit deals damage equal to its power to a unit. Then another friendly Imperial unit deals damage equal to its power to the same unit. Ooh, that's dope. So dark side's definitely about damage, or black, we'll say. And white is about recovery and protection, which will be interesting. I definitely feel like damage is going to be stronger unless the white stuff is going to be pumping out shields, protections, evasion much faster than, say, the damage coming out from the black cards, dark cards. We can say dark and light. That's fine. Can't really see what Leia does, but she's 2 power, 2 health. And there, we get a really good grasp on what this game is going to be like kind of right off the bat. Is that at least with this example of cards that we see here, deck construction is definitely going to be based upon the leader. The leader being specifically having 2 symbols each is likely going to be something similar to Commander, I want to say. Or maybe even Flesh and Blood. For Commander, you pick a commander. We'll use an example of Lathil, Blade of the Elves, I think is what her name is. She's black-green. So you can play only black or green cards, and cards within the text that reference black and green mana. And lands that do the same thing. That's the balancing factor to Commander outside of Singleton, obviously. So it looks like this might be the same. So Luke himself may be set up to be just blue and light cards. Darth Vader may be red and black cards. We don't know if there's anything else that's going to add into what it is, that how you build a deck. But my assumption is here, and it's just my assumption, it's not based on anything, is that your leader will be deciding how and what your deck will play. So we'll probably see various combinations of all the different leaders, I would assume. I doubt that we'll see yellow and blue specifically white, and then green and red specifically black, or light and dark, excuse me. So I assume we'll definitely see a blue dark, yellow dark, green light, red light. It's likely something to the effect of the way that each of these do. So maybe red is limited to dark, or red could be darker. No, that's a good question. I don't know. This is where the speculation and hopes part of the video would come into. I won't be able to make that because this answered a lot of my speculations and hopes for certain things. One thing I will say is this first, again, they're going really hard on trying to say that there's a large spectrum of what's going to be playable. So I have to assume, speculation is that the second set will deal with the Clone Wars, or the prequel trilogy as a whole. It might be as narrow as the Clone Wars, so at the end of episode 2 through episode 3, and everything that spans in there, maybe a little bit after episode 3, or it could be the entire prequel trilogy. Regardless, I want it all. Give it all to me, but just to inject it directly into my veins. This has already made me super excited about the way things happen. The way things can happen. This game is called Unlimited for a reason. With over 200 cards in the first set, Spark of Rebellion alone, there are countless strategies, combinations just waiting to be discovered. So, and they do also mention here in the, just before the organized play, that you have draft and sealed events. So that was another speculation. Actually, I think that was a hope I have written down. I'm not going to go check that. Draft and sealed events would be available within the first set. I don't think it's going to be something that is absolutely ride or die, live or die on having the game survive if they don't have set 1 draft and sealed, because Destiny lasted what, 5 sets before they actually started putting some emphasis on doing draft and sealed. But I think they recognized they needed that in the first shot, and they were going to get that done anyway. So I'm excited for a lot of what we've seen here. Cautiously optimistic, but also excited, because there's a lot coming. There's a lot that could happen, and we don't really know exactly what's going to be coming forth other than what's been seen here. I'm excited. I'm excited. The art is a little funky, but I'm sure it'll be something to get used to. Some characters look fine, some characters don't. That Tarkin looked a little weird, but I assume it's probably going to be either fleshed out a little bit, or potentially there'll be a different art that can be used from Moff Tarkin. Alt arts and special treatments, I think, are going to be really important in this game, especially if, let's say, you want to use Grand Moff Tarkin and you don't like that art. I assume Tarkin's going to be someone who has an alternate art. So, yeah, that's what I've got going. This video is going to go up at basically as soon as I can get it up. I got to make another thumbnail. We'll figure out exactly how to do that here in a moment. So that's today's info drop, episode 1, the first reveal, or whatever I said at the beginning of the video, the first look. We'll go ahead and say the first reveal in the episode title. So I hope you all enjoyed this video as I did. You guys made my last video one of the most successful videos I've had on the channel in a while. I know I haven't had a lot, plus that Midnight Suns video has blown the previous video out of the water, but I really want to put a lot of effort into making this a thing that I do, because I love card games. I love Star Wars. I very much do like Fantasy Flight Games design for games, the LCG, Star Wars Destiny, 2 of my favorite games. I have boxes here of the Star Wars TCG from Wizards, so I can play this game as it tides me over until Star Wars Unlimited comes out. But right now, I'm still on track for a full send, a full support, more videos on the channel as they come. I will be dropping more videos based upon what I think might happen in the game, and then also what they are going to be announcing. I have a suspicion that we're going to get an info drop at Gen Con, which is in August, so 2-3 months from now. We should see another big info dump about the game. Potentially what rarities are going to look like, what treatments are going to look like, when the exact date of the first set releases. I think that's something we're going to get announced at Gen Con. So thank you very much for joining me, everybody. A little bit longer video than last time, but that's because we had to go through a lot, and there, like I said, there was a lot here. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. We will see you on the next video, and also at Twitch, twitch.tv/RybackStun. I stream 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, so check me out there. Links are all around. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/RybackStun. Make sure to like and comment on this video. I know it's annoying. I know you guys hate people saying this, but it really does help get YouTube creators up into the stands by being able to have the engagement engage. And if there's anything that you guys would engage with, this is what I want you guys to engage with, because we're talking cool stuff. We're talking Star Wars. We're talking things I'm passionate about. If that's the only thing I ever get out of this, then I'm fine with that, because I believe this is going to be something that is going to be good going forward. So that's it. I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Peace.